Good Sunday afternoon to everyone. Roger Hill, Vilco Weather Hazards forecaster. This is the Vilco Weather Hazards Outlook. A little bit of a background noise. I have a noisy fan that keeps turning on and off, so gotta have it. It runs my climatology. I apologize in advance. Looking at the big picture, we see basically these are dew point temperatures and kind of controlling here. This is where the humidity is, the higher dew points that kind of work this way like this. This is being pulled in off the Gulf of Mexico, of course, and it's powering up numerous severe weather events just about every day, one after another, or every other couple of days. For us, some of these are getting to us and then working on through and then kind of much more weaker as they move on through. Our next one that's really going to be affecting us is not going to be until sometime about Monday night. It could include some embedded thunderstorms, but even ahead of that, we have some gradient winds that will kick up, mostly in the central and northern parts of the Green Mountains and the western slopes. These gradient winds are a little bit out of season. It comes from a slightly stronger than normal area of low pressure that's going to be working its way into the Great Lakes and causing the wind flow to be out of the south to southeast and interacting with terrain. So a little bit of an oddity, kind of out of season gradient winds, but it looks like it's just marginal. Gusts in the range of about 35 to 45 miles per hour. All of that taking place during the day, Memorial Day, Monday, during the afternoon hours, probably about something like a 3, 4, 5, 6 hour event maximum. And it looks like, again, the interaction along the western slopes. So there could be a couple of impacts with that. And then that is immediately followed by this frontal boundary, which will have moved in, and it'll be pushing in across New York. Plenty of thunderstorm activity to the west of us, and then as it moves off to the east, we're looking at those showers and thunderstorms, possibly moderate to heavy at times, and a couple rumbles of thunder in the mix. These will be elevated, sort of weakening thunderstorms, so not really counting on winds. Not anticipating any kind of wind issues, but there could be some lightning strikes, and for the most part it looks to be sparse, maybe moderate, but bursts, but not even that much in the way of lightning, and that's going to be about it. Then actually temperatures will cool down later in the week, and that's going to cut down any kind of thunderstorm convection potential as we head into especially the mid to late part of next week, and that's going to cover a pretty good chunk of the outlook period. We have some pretty good weather actually scheduled, it looks like, along about Tuesday. The next best chance after that will be about Friday. In between, a little bit on the showery side. And again, Monday night, probably the headliner there with a little bit of shower and thunderstorm. Some of the showers could be moderate to briefly heavy for a time. This is current temperatures, what we're looking at here, and looking at winds. You can see there's a little bit of wind here. This is the system that's going to be working on through. The winds will be out of the southeast ahead of the system on Monday afternoon. Looking at the computer modeling on the right-hand side, we have the usual GFS ensemble. And then on the left-hand side, we have the European deterministic. So as we run the computer model past 2 o'clock this afternoon, we see nothing but good conditions going into tonight. Dry weather, a little bit of shower activity or drizzle tries to work in off of southern New England. Not really counting on a whole lot of that, but Monday has a little bit of that shower activity. And then we get to the main event, which is going to be during the nighttime in terms of precipitation. But just to back that up, you might notice the pressure gradient increases here, and that's what's going to bring us our sort of south to southeasterly winds interacting with mainly the central and northern Green Mountains and along those western slopes, 35 to 45 mile per hour gusts. We have full tree canopy now with the new deciduous trees and their new growth. So some of those canopies will be shaking around, and one or two of them could come down and cause an impact. So just a heads up on that. It's a brief period in time. Then we get into the showers, briefly moderate to heavy, and then potentially a couple thunderstorms in the mix. And then by Tuesday morning, we're getting dry slotted. You can see that drier air in trains gets pulled around and pushed in. And so conditions will actually set up better on Tuesday. And I'm counting on, after a little bit of sprinkles maybe in the morning, but drier weather. And not looking at a bad project weather day as it looks right now Tuesday. It is a bit of a shoehorn tight fit, however, so keeping that in mind. I would ignore the ensemble, the GFS ensemble here. It's broadly showing there's going to be showers. This is much more clear. So looking at the next chances, that's going to develop, it looks like, on Tuesday night and Wednesday. Little bit of shower activity on both sides of Vermont, basically northern Tier regions and parts of southern Vermont later in the afternoon on Wednesday. And then that kind of works in Wednesday night and Thursday. That's only going to be the main issue in terms of showers. This could be a little bit more moderate, potentially, some moderate showers here. But notice that we have temperatures cold enough aloft. Wow, 5,400 meter thickness. Not saying we're going to see any wet snowflakes on the upper mountains, but it just kind of shows you there's some chilly air working in on the backside. Big ridge of higher pressure trying to build in, so a lot of drier air, but colder air aloft. And with a cutoff low in the vicinity, never know what's going to happen, but Friday is looking like the next best day. High pressure tries to build in here. You can see that there's some potential maybe for a couple minor showers or sprinkles very late in the day toward northern parts of New Hampshire. This is a long ways out, so take it with a grain of salt. Much lowered confidence. But the weekend to follow looks like it will be a dry weekend. Something to look forward to after a little bit of an unsettled stretch of weather here for the mid to late part of the week. Montpelier grid with the GFS ensemble shows you this. This is 3-hourly QPF. So breaking it down, this is going to be our heaviest event, and that's what's going to be crossing into the region basically Monday night. And then it's out of here by Tuesday. Tuesday night we have a little bit of shower activity kind of lingering maybe on the Wednesday and Thursday, and then we're looking at conditions that'll favor a little bit of a drying act. It looks like by Friday, suspect, and maybe lasting into the weekend, but you can see there. Total QPF, we're not looking at too far off from normal for this time of year, which is roughly around an inch. Deterministic GFS says nope, it's going to be less than that, so actually below normal. The European gives us basically near normal to slightly above normal precipitation for this next 5 to 6 days. You can see precipitation type and also the percentages of chances of rain. That's going to be about 100%, so it's done. And then also you're looking at precipitable water is going to be the highest here, the most juiced up air mass. European model was giving us about 2 to 3, almost 4 sigma standard deviation in PWATS or precipitable water, and then it drops off, and that's when the thunderstorms occur or the heavier showers then move on out, and then conditions get a little bit better. Looking at Cape over shear, really nothing to worry about here, fairly low. This is going to be elevated thunderstorms anyway, so we lose all the surface heating as we head into basically Monday night, and then really not a whole lot to worry about thereafter. Looking at shear over Cape, yeah, we got about 40 knots of shear, but here again, I think these are going to be elevated storms, nothing to worry about. A little bit of a buffer since it's occurring at night on Monday night. And with total precipitation forecast, you can see it's basically mostly east and north of the Rockies. We're looking at around a ½ inch to about 1 inch amounts in the areas around Vermont. Looking at temperature, 2-meter temperature anomalies in the tan colors here, orange colors, we got above normal. Of course, the blue denotes below normal. You can see the scale here, and it's just kind of a mix right now with cooler air trying to transit toward our neck of the woods here. And so the weighted temperatures for the next 5 days, the meteorological output statistics show that yes, indeed, about 3 to 6 degrees below normal, centered mostly a little bit to the north. What about 3 days later? We do have that graphic back, about 3 degrees below normal, with neutral across a good portion of east of the Mississippi. And again, this is 3 to 7 days out beyond the outlook period for the most part. And on this Sunday midday, early afternoon, we have real nice conditions with temperatures basically in the low to middle 70s and decent amounts of sunshine and just partly sunny at times near the mountains. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.